I'm very pleased to introduce tonight David Thomson, one of our finest writers about film. He writes for a number of important periodical publications, including New York Times, The New Republic, The Independent, Film Criticism, and especially Salon Magazine, where he writes beautiful pieces on film, and indeed more broadly, even ranging into very nice examples of the personal essay. David Thomson is the author of 17 books across a range of topics about film. He's author of quite a few biographical works, a lot of books about the history and criticism of films, especially Hollywood films. He even writes fiction. Perhaps he's most famous for the Biographical Dictionary of Film and its successor, the New Biographical Dictionary of Film, and everyone should definitely buy that book. Run. Do not walk. Run to the store. Buy the book. But also numerous other very satisfying works. Have You Seen It? Suspects, etc. I thought I couldn't do better than to quote David Thomson in introducing David Thomson. He said in an interview, "I take the view that in the end, a person only needs to write one great book or make one great film. They can write 10 terrible books and we regret and lament that we may have to explain it. But if there's one great book or one great film, then they always have got to be remembered. It's up to people like me who are following behind the procession of cinema to say, that's someone to remember. It's easier. You see it more clearly when they're dead." Fortunately for us, David Thomson is not dead. He's here, alive, with us. And he's the author of 17 great books. What can be better than that? So without further ado, I give you David Thomson.
Well, thank you so much. Certainly not 17 great books. That I do assure you. I was asked quite some time ago to contribute to this seminar, and I searched my mind for a title that might pass for a title that bore some relevance to philosophy. And I thought of that inane remark that is always credited to Jean-Luc Godard. When I came to go through his works to try to find it, I had enormous difficulty. So there is a saving possibility that he never actually said it. And if you love him as much as I do, although he's not easy to love, but if you love him as much as I do, I would prefer that he had never said this. But it seems he may have agreed to the idea that the cinema is truth 24 times a second. And I, in a sort of skittish mood, said, well, why not talk about that? And the question that I saw immediately coming out of it, which is that if there's so much damn truth crammed into every second, how are we possibly going to find the time and the room and the space to tell a few lies to each other? And as we all know, the lies in life can be very entertaining. They can be very damaging, of course, but they can be very entertaining. And storytellers like to think that what they are doing, and it's storytelling, whether you've written a novel or whether you've made a film, they like to think that what they're doing is getting at the truth. But they know, and if they're honest with themselves, it is the bliss of it. They sat at a desk, and after many years and hours of agony had passed over, they thought of something they could make up that seemed sweet. And they were off. In other words, they've made it up. Now, I don't mean to say, and I know that any philosopher would immediately challenge me if I did say that just because I've made something up, it does not necessarily become a lie. But it doesn't become truth either. It becomes truth only if it finds a place to live in your mind and your imagination, and I will probably never know you, or the author will never know you, but if it lived for you and it became something interesting for you that had elements of truth and falsehood in it, so much the better. So I thought, well, that's what I'll do. And I agreed to talk about that a long time ago, and I came back to the occasion of this seminar earlier this week. I have an absurdly crowded life, which I apologize for, but it's my fault. And I thought, what did I possibly mean when I said that's what I would talk about? And I couldn't remember, and I couldn't see what it would be, and I thought the only way I'm going to find out is if I start talking and gradually work my way through to discover what it was. I'm sure many of you talk in that way all the time in life. You talk until you remember what it was you forgot. But something happened this week. Something happened this week. Did it ever? The thing in Haiti happened. And we have had to spend 3 days so far, 4 days, trying to work out what happened and what do we know about it. And I saw something this week that I bought. I'm sure you all saw it. And I thought I would begin with this, because what I'm going to talk about in many ways is a matter of accuracy. The truth, I think, can be accurate, but a lie can be accurate. If I say, I saw Joni kissing Phil the other day, it may be a lie, but it may be exactly what Joni wants to do. There may be something profoundly psychologically accurate in it. Truths and lies share in accuracy if they're going to work for us. And what I wanted you to look at, I'm sure you saw it, it's the New York Times cover of yesterday, where there is this quite extraordinary photograph. And the first thing I thought when I looked at it, and I don't mean this to be in bad taste, although if you feel inclined to take it in bad taste, so be it. We may well get to bad taste eventually. I thought, well, my God, it's navy blue. By Navi, I mean that strange tribe of people in Avatar. And then I thought, well, it is a photograph in shades of blue, enormously striking. It is credited to someone named Damon Winter, and was taken for the New York Times. He must be an employee of the New York Times. He must be, mustn't he, out in Haiti taking pictures, and he's obviously, because he's sophisticated and employed by the New York Times, he's taking digital pictures which he can get in quickly. And it occurs to me to ask whether the editor of the paper looks at the picture, which is going to occupy a very large place on the front page. It's obviously editorially, creatively, an enormously important part of today's paper, yesterday's paper. Does he say, oh my God, it's the blue from that film, that silly film, Avatar, or it's the blue from that extraordinary film, Avatar, that my kids dragged me to see, and which even I had to admit was amazing. Is he, it then occurs to me, is he worth